guys, and welcome to another Mobile Geeks video. I'm joined by
Don Dahlman, and this is Nicole Scott.
Hey guys, how you doing? We are in a Audi A1 Citycarver. So this is a very special edition of this car. It's a little bit higher.
It's a little bit higher,
than
yes.
the normal A1.
Yeah, and we're sitting inside the car this time because it's so windy outside that you can't do anything
Because
from the
it's
outside.
Hamburg.
It's Hamburg.
Wow.
Yeah, we are in Hamburg and we are close to the airport, and it's very, very, very windy today. Unfortunately not raining, but it's very windy. Yeah, Citycarver A1. A1 was newly released last November. And they had just a normal version, and now they made this special version for cities called Citycarver. It's a bit of a weird name.
It is, but I guess it's like a city car and you're carving up the city, maybe. That's maybe the thing.
Small and carving.
Yeah.
So what they did is actually they didn't change a lot to the normal A1. They changed a bit in the design in the front, but they also made the car a little bit higher. So they raised the car by I think 4 centimeters or 5 centimeters. So made it a bit like SUV-ish.
Yeah, just to be a little bit higher in the city. And one of the things that I do like about this is that it was easy for me to adjust the height of the chair to see over the steering wheel quite nicely. So I really appreciated the extra height that they gave me in this car, both in the seat and physically.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the A1, it's not like the best-selling car of Audi, to be honest. It's like the smallest they have in their lineup, and it's being produced since ages. This I think is the second version of the A1, and it still has its buyers. And we drove around a lot today in Hamburg and yesterday also. And that was quite interesting because yesterday we did the startup round.
We did all the startups, and we actually have a separate video for that.
Yes.
And so
Check that out.
You should check that out because it kind of melds the A1 with a lot of different startups here in Hamburg and gives you a different idea, a different perspective on how the design and the lighting and just a lot of the concept of the car they're just kind of positioned it in a little bit of a different way. So that was kind of nice. But we are actually going to leave the interior of this car because it is just so windy out here.
And our cameraman is going blown away.
Is going to blow away. So we're going to continue this inside, guys. We'll see you in a sec.
Hi, we are back from the car inside because it's a bit more warmer and a bit quieter and less windy than
way less
outside.
windy.
Way less windy than outside. But that doesn't mean that the car isn't made for bad weather. Of course, you can use it in bad weather. To clear that up, Audi, you can use a car in bad weather. But yeah, it's mainly made for city.
It's in the name, Citycarver. So what makes it well suited for a city? Well, the higher height, the sportier grille package, plastic stuff around the car, or metal stuff around the car.
Yeah.
And then there was some nice connectivity features that I did like about it. The fact that it was using the data from Here Maps to tell you where there were parking spots, I thought that was quite nice. In Ingolstadt, they are doing a test with the city in order to connect with the traffic lights. So in real time, we're able to kind of give you that green wave, which is pretty cool.
Which is pretty interesting because it's the first car, the A1 is the first car from Audi that has a car-to-X connectivity. So it's car to infrastructure. So it's a test. What you need for autonomous driving in the future is that the infrastructure is talking to the car, so that the car knows the traffic light is green or red or whatever is happening. And Ingolstadt, of course, is the headquarters of Audi. Is the first city that equipped their IT system and the traffic lights with the feedback system that goes to the city.
In Europe.
In Europe, yeah.
In Europe.
It's the first
It's the first in,
you
for,
have
for
it in
Audi
the
in Europe.
States.
They've been doing this in the States for a year now.
Yeah, they have like 90 cities.
Yeah,
now
90 cities, which makes me feel like Audi's very busy creating relationships with municipalities because you need to talk to the city who's running the infrastructure in order to know what's happening with the lights, because a lot of lights are actually adapting real time to traffic conditions.
Exactly,
So you need that real connectivity.
Yeah, and it's the first city that has this connectivity feature, and Audi is the first car manufacturer that has this built-in thing. Of course, you only can use it in Ingolstadt, so if you buy the car, go to Ingolstadt and then try it out. But it's a very sophisticated system because the information goes from the traffic light to the city and to the IT system of the city. Then it goes to the back end of Audi. Audi is then transforming the data to send it back to your car. So there's a bit of latency in between, but it's not. I think it's under a second or something.
They said there's no latency, and I was
Yeah,
like,
they
well,
said
that's
there's no
crazy.
latency. It's not.
But what I also like about this is that you now have the Golf 8, which also has Car2X, and this is rolling out standard in their whole fleet. So this might be a concept that's rather new for everybody, but the Car2X is a really cool safety feature that I can't wait to have in wider scale, because it will let you know if there's a traffic problem ahead or what's happening ahead of you. So in real time, the cars will talk to each other to inform you about any issues that are happening directly on the road in front of you. So this kind of safety hazard feature, I think, with Car2X is really quite strong as well.
Exactly, and I found it very interesting that Audi decided to put the Car2X feature into the A1, because, I mean, you normally would say, it doesn't make any sense, it's only in Ingolstadt. You could use it as a prototype or a prototype car or something, test car. But I found it very interesting that they put the feature in, because it makes you always also very safe for the future. So if these kind of features are rolling out in Germany, maybe in a year or two or wherever, then you have it in your car. So you have like not a bulletproof, but you have a future-proof car that has also features that you may use later, but it's possible then.
And they have a lot of little future-proof details within the car, stuff like the USB full-size and Type-C USB.
Yeah.
So it's not like these manufacturers who just said, okay, we're doing Type-C throughout the whole car, and me as a tech blogger, I have two Type-C to Type-C cables. I mean, the average person, you will usually have a full-size USB to whatever's happening on the end of your phone, right? And that a lot of these manufacturers have removed that completely from the car is too futuristic. So the fact that Audi kind of said, okay, you can have the old and the new, we're getting ready for what's happening in the next 5 years, even though we recognize this year they're still
And
going
they
to have
have
the
a
old.
USB to USB-C, USB-C, a USB-C to USB-C cable in the car.
Yeah.
So you're fine
Yeah.
if you have.
And
USB-C.
Qi wireless charging, which I thought
Yeah,
was really
they
nice.
have.
The wireless charging is really kind of essential.
And they use the car also as an external antenna for your smartphone.
Yeah, which I found really interesting. When you're connecting via Bluetooth,
Yeah.
they'll actually amplify your signal. Because I was
Yeah.
like, wait, how does this work? Which craft? Yeah, which yeah. Okay, hold on. So I thought that was really great. So those are the connectivity features of the car. We definitely really like.
It was really good connectivity features, and also the car. I mean, back to the city, it's a small car. It's 4.46 meters, I think, in the back of my mind. So it's not a huge car, and you can, or it's even smaller. So, but anyways, but it's a very small car. But it's spacious enough for like 4 people if you go for the beach for a day or even a weekend trip. For 2 people, it's enough to make it like a long holiday. The boot is big enough to get in your stuff. You can load some stuff in if you buy more. If you go to IKEA or somewhere. Then
I
you
actually
get some
played.
stuff in. You played the Tetris. the
Boot Tetris, where they
Tetris,
gave
yeah.
me a whole bunch of Tetris blocks. I thought I had to figure it out on my own, but there was actually a map.
Ah,
And I was
okay.
really disappointed that I wasn't troubleshooting how to figure out. But you were able to fit in quite a lot of
Yeah.
stuff into it. And I thought that was like pretty good. I think that the boot size to me is sort of big enough for a city car, and you can, like you said, take a 2 or 3 week vacation to Spain with one other person, and the car will be definitely sufficient for that. So
Yeah.
it's a big enough car to handle that road trip scenario. So
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely,
perfect.
absolutely. And 4 people can easily sit in the car without any problem. It's very comfortable also in the back, so that's fine. Interior-wise, it's different. It's very different, and I like the idea of. It's not like what you expect a bit maybe from Audi, because normally have these like very down to earth, very plain interior, some nice added features in terms of design, but it's a bit more laid back. It's like. So,
Well-
but the A1 is different.
Yeah, it has a really well, we had the orange version, so it had a
Yeah.
very aggressive color scheme on the
Yeah.
inside, black and orange with like a
Silver,
silver
yeah.
reptile kind of bar. And there's these two vents on the other side of the steering wheel, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, do you like turn the air up to make it feel like you're going fast? This was my immediate reaction to that. And also, I have to say that I found a few of the interior materials to be a little bit cheap. They sounded
It felt a bit cheap, especially in the door.
in the door.
Area that was like plastic that you normally won't find in an Audi.
Yeah.
I remember that you can't find it in cheap in Volkswagen, like the Up or the Polo. But yeah, that was a bit of a surprise that you have it.
It just kind of makes me wonder. I mean, like Tesla has always made very cheap interiors with very cheap plastics, and nobody seems to give a shit at all about the quality of Tesla's interiors, even though you know that the German OEMs are making high quality interiors, and Tesla's not even coming close. So, like, did Tesla just ruin the high-end interior for everybody?
Yeah,
Hope
maybe they looked at the Tesla and were like, okay, we can do that too.
We can do that. This interior we can definitely make.
But otherwise, I mean, you have the high quality interior from Audi. Everything fits. Everything.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not,
the seats
nothing.
felt really good.
Seats are good. You don't hear any crackling noises or something. So it's everything fine. It's just like we talk about the icing of the cake that we're like not. We were surprised that it was a bit like felt a bit cheaper than it used to be.
That it sounded a bit cheap was like when you knocked on it was my sort of indication. I was like, oh, this doesn't feel that great, but the sound.
But it's still.
It's nitpicky though. It's fine.
It doesn't look that cheap.
No.
It's totally fine. What else do we have with the car? We talked about the engines. They have mainly two engines at the moment. They have a 3-cylinder engine, which is 1 liter 3-cylinder. You can get up, I think, from 95 brake horsepower up to 120 or something, and then they have the 1.5 liter TFSI engine with 150 brake horsepower, which is a bit more quick. You actually don't need that. I think even the lowest end engine is totally fine with 95 brake horsepower or something. That's totally sufficient for the city, and it also saves you some fuel. So the engines are quite okay. If you don't like the 3-cylinder engine, which I think is a good engine because it sounds nice, there's a kind of
there's a little bit of oomph behind it. I thought that the driving of the car was fantastic. I mean, the handling and the way that it went off the lights, and I thought that it was a really great city car. But you did have one comment as we were driving around.
Yes, I mean, it's a city car and it's made for a city, and I was wondering why isn't there a plug-in hybrid that gives you, I mean, given the size of the car, it won't give you like more than 30 to 50 kilometers because you can't fit the battery in. And this is not a new model, this is like a remodeled version of the old A1, so the platform isn't made for it. But so they would have invested a lot of money to make a plug-in version for it.
Right.
But I think a plug-in version really fits the car because this is the way you move normally in cities. You don't drive like for 50 kilometers or so, and even when you can do it electric. And for your small trips that you do, I think electric would be a good thing to have.
I mean, the average person who's doing city driving isn't driving more than 50 kilometers total in one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
On average, right? The commute time is generally 25 there, 25 back, maximum.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the plug-in hybrid would work really well, but like you said, this isn't a new platform, so
It isn't.
It isn't, and so they're working with what they have. But in the future, I would like to see a plug-in hybrid version for the A1, especially something focused on the city like this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I mean that's where that's how you move in cities, or then how you will move in cities is like having an electric car, and that also I mean you will have in London you always you also in London you have these very slowly, it's early. You have these ultra low emission zones that are only allowed to drive with an electric car on it, and you will get something like that also in parts of Europe. So it would be nice to have a city car that is allowed to drive actually in these ultra low emission zones, in these green zones, and so therefore kind of electric
option
would be nice to
would
have.
be ideal. just as another future-proof element within the car, because these green zones are going to become a lot more popular in urban city centers in the next 5 years. So
Yeah, but the engine itself is totally okay, and
Yeah.
it's quick enough to go on the highway. You can do
more than.
120, 130 kilometers, not miles, which is easy. Fuel consumption is good. So everything is fine. I think it's really a very nice and good car. Saying that, it's an Audi, it's a premium version of a city car, so it's not cheap.
25K
Well, for the high end,
for the high-end version.
with the big engine version, I think it starts around between 20 and 22, which is still a lot of money. I mean, the cheapest version of the Golf 7, the latest version. The previous version of the latest version, because we don't have any prices for the Golf yet. But the Golf 7 you could get around 18 or 19, which was like the basic version, which is not as beautiful or as nice as the A1. But yeah, you can get cheaper cars, of course. But then it's not an Audi. And you pay for the design, you pay for the connectivity, you have the future-proof stuff, and you have the new 3-cylinder engine. You have all these little goodies that you can get. It has a very nice design. It stands out of the crowd. Not only because of the orange color, you can get it in black also, so don't be afraid of that. But it stands out, and it's and that you have to. I mean, this is the premium version of a city car, and you have to pay for it.
And our overall impression of the A1 Citycarver is we both like it. We both like it a lot. I mean, I thought the driving was great. I think the car size is ideal for the city when you're looking for parking. I think this is really quite good. It's not as small as the smallest Mini, but it is around the same size as your normal, because actually Minis now are getting quite
It's
big.
like a size of a Polo. If you want to compare it to Volkswagen cars, it's a Polo car. It's the same platform. So you have that, and we drove a lot of small inner city roads where just one car went, and that's so easy with the car because it's agile and you can turn it really easily, and it's not too wide.
It's not too wide.
And you have everything.
But in all honesty, I was forgetting about the physical size of it, because the interior is so spacious. It feels like a Golf 8. I mean, it feels like a car that's 30% larger on the outside.
Absolutely.
Because the interior just feels so good. So I'm really kind of a fan of the feeling of the cockpit of this car, even though the plastic situation.
And
whatever.
then if you take and even if you take like the most expensive version of the A1, you pay 25. Then it's not a bad price, because if you compare it, for example, to the Mini, the Mini doesn't feel that spacious inside.
It does not.
And it doesn't.
And the infotainment system's actual garbage.
Oh yeah, that's
like trash, co-functioning as your infotainment system.
Yeah. So if you compare it price-wise to the Mini, which is also the city car, if you compare that, then the Audi is actually not a bad offer, because it's even cheaper than the Mini, and you have, my opinion, better design. You have the better connectivity features. You have the modern engines, and so you have, in the end, you have a really, really nice, good car, which is not cheap, yes, but again, it's premium with Audi.
So, that's been our look at the A1 Citycarver.
Yes.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments, and we didn't dive in to the infotainment system this time because it hasn't really changed since the A4. We have a very detailed video. I think it's like 25 minutes.
25 minutes about the A4
about the A4 infotainment system, which is identical to the one that we've found here. So check that one out if you're curious what's happening there. We do have a few things that we didn't like about the infotainment system in the A4, because this is a single screen infotainment system, and this is an adaptation from the double screen which we found in the A8, right? So this is actually
A6, A8.
Yeah, and so this is actually shoving a lot of the climate control into this top display, and I don't really love how my arm is free floating to do a lot of this stuff. But having said that, I do like the infotainment system, but if you are thinking about getting this, you should check out that video just so you're aware of everything that's happening connectivity-wise.
Yeah, so we got you covered for the A1 and the infotainment system. If you want to have a look, check out both videos, and have fun with that.
All right. So thanks so much for joining us here in Hamburg.
Yeah.
And leave us a comment if you guys have any questions. We are checking them out.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.